So a while back, the man, the myth, the legend, Vitsi, gave me the suggestion that maybe I could do a video where I talk about my 9 favorite games. And that was actually a very interesting video idea, I thought. And I started thinking about, what are my 9 favorite games? Because I think every time someone asks me, Bo, what is your favorite game? I always give a different answer. And so I sat down and started thinking about it, and I made a list of my 9 favorite games. I thought about it, I changed the list, I was happy with it, I thought some more, I changed it again, and then like a week or 2 weeks later or so, PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye made the videos about their favorite 9 video games. But PewDiePie more talked about them as 9 games that defined him, rather than just his favorite games. And I actually like that idea, that because I'm someone who has big problems with having favorites. I like different games for different reasons. But I managed to get down to 9 games that I think kind of defined how I play games and what I like in games, and maybe defined me in a bit, but mostly 9 games that I've really enjoyed during my time as a gamer. And those 9 games are these: Halo Combat Evolved, Splinter Cell Double Agent, Assassin's Creed, Mass Effect 2, Dishonored 2, The Witness, Undertale, Sekiro, and Outer Wilds. I have the list next to me here, so but these are like the 9 games that I think when I played them I really thought like, wow, these are great games, or that I think back to like, oh yeah, this was a great moment in my life when I played this game because I really enjoyed the game, or something similar. They had some kind of impact on me during my life, and the order that you see them here are not the order that I like them. Like, I don't like Halo more than I like Outer Wilds, or the other way around or so. These are actually the order that I played them, and that's also the order that I'm gonna talk about them. So, first off, Halo Combat Evolved. Man, that might be the problem. That might be the game on this list that I played the most, probably. Let's see here. I played it first time when I was maybe 11, 12 maybe. I think it was released in 2001, and I was 11 by then. And I think that was a time when like the Xbox had come out, and they had like in our grocery store that my dad always went to. I usually came with him to buy groceries and stuff, and they had this display of an Xbox and with a Halo demo inside that you could play. And me and my sister, at least I did, and also my sister as well, we always played got over there and started playing Halo. And it was a map, The Silent Cartographer, where you start off landing on the beach and you shoot off some aliens, really cool, and then you get to drive around in a warthog, and you can drive around this island. It was so cool, and it felt so open world, because I hadn't really ever played a game like this. This was like my first time actually playing a first-person shooter in this that was like open in this way. I've only played first-person shooters that was really linear, so to speak. So get out here and feel like this open world was so cool, and I really liked it. Wasn't like, because all the games I felt like when it was first person, it was always like all of the Call of Duties, all the Medal of Honors, it was just war. But this was so colorful, and there were aliens, and they were big, just cool. I just thought it was so cool. So later, when I decided, when I saved up money at my birthday, and when I turned 12, I earned enough money so that I could go and buy myself a gaming console, and it was either buying a PlayStation 2 or an Xbox. And me and my mom, we went to the store and we asked the store clerk, like, okay, we want to buy game consoles. Can you tell us some about them? Because my mom knows nothing about game consoles. And I had already played like a lot of PlayStation at my brother's, because he owned the PlayStation, the first one, and like the PlayStation original, the one. So I was kind of familiar with the PlayStation, and I was considering like, yeah, maybe get a PlayStation 2. And we asked the store clerk, if you could buy any of these, which would you go for? And he was like, Xbox is here. Xbox is up and coming. There are some great games to the Xbox One, but the PlayStation 2 is more well known. We know what we get. You can play the games from the first PlayStation on this one. So the library of games on the PlayStation is much larger. So I would go for the PlayStation 2 if I were you. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I looked over at the where the Xbox games, the PlayStation games are, and I saw Halo there, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go with the Xbox. Though I don't think I got Halo when I bought the Xbox. I think I bought Halo later. But when I finally bought it and started playing it, man, I didn't play anything else until like Halo 2 came out. Damn, I have so many memories of me playing it with my sister and my best friend at the time. We played it all the time, and yeah, beat it on Legendary, like the hardest difficulty. And yeah, when Halo 2 came out, we played that so much. Halo 3, oh my god, so many hours in multiplayer with those games. So I just loved like how this was a shooter game that wasn't set in like a world war, and like I said, aliens and stuff. That was cool, and it was so colorful and bright and nice, and I loved the music in the game, and it was just amazing in my mind. I love it so much. Yeah, I just love it. So lately I've gone back with Nate the Dragon and actually replayed Halo 1, 2 and 3, and we're gonna continue playing Halo 4 next time, I think. No, we're gonna play Halo ODST, but we decided that we are going to go back and replay all the Halo games. And I can still tell you that I still love this game so much. This is a great game. Though I still, as I said before, I think Halo 3 is my favorite of the bunch. Halo 2 being the least favorite. But I wanted to put Halo here because that was the game that started this whole Halo journey for me, and that's why that is really important for me. And yeah, it just opened my eyes for what first-person shooters could be, really. So yeah, and yeah, when I got the PlayStation 3 later after the 360 and all, I got the PlayStation 3. I played Killzone, Killzone 2, Resistance, and I just didn't like those. Everyone was telling me that Resistance and Killzone are the great Halo killer games. They're gonna beat Halo to the ground because these games are so good. I hated them. They were so dark. Everything was gray, especially Resistance. Everything was gray and brown and green. Hated it. While Halo is so colorful and still action-packed, and the story is so cool and all. But yeah, I just love Halo so much. Okay, get off my back. The next one is Splinter Cell Double Agent. And before you go to Steam and check out this game, just know that when this game was released, they made one release for PlayStation 2, Xbox, the original Xbox, and Wii, I think, and the GameCube. But that was created by Ubisoft Montreal, and the game that I played was released for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. Yeah, maybe something else. But that was made by Ubisoft Shanghai. So there are actually two different games that both are Splinter Cell Double Agent, and I played the one that is called was made by Shanghai, and the game that's on Steam is the other one made by Montreal. So if you go there and see that it's mostly negative, it's because it's a bad PC port, and it was I would say that it's not the one I played. So that's where it's bad. But yeah, I love the Splinter Cell games, and I was really thinking about which Splinter Cell game I should put here, because the first one was like really what got me into like the sneaking kind of games, like where you're an agent and you're gonna sneak around and you gotta pop some heads without anyone noticing and hide the bodies. Like you're either like any Metal Gear Solid games. I had never played Metal Gear Solid, so this was my first take on such a game. And yeah, I love the games, but Splinter Cell Double Agent is, like the game says, you're a double agent. You're actually working for both the good guys and the bad guys at the same time. And that was so cool to me. Like, you're gonna see that all these games, I'm just gonna tell you how cool they are. So maybe this is like my 9 coolest games or something. But the thing that you were like doing both sides at the same time was so mind-blowing to me. That was so interesting and cool and all. And you play as Sam Fisher as usual, but this time he got rogue. Or so at least the bad guys think, so they recruited him. And you got to play as him, but still you were still in contact with like the CIA, I think, or the NBA, or whatever they were called. But that was cool, and I loved it. And you had to do like side missions while out on the bad guys missions. You actually did like things for the good guys, as well as when you are in like the base, you're doing things like you're bugging rooms and you're hacking stuff for the good guys. So that was really cool, and I really liked that. And that was the first game that I think... Yeah, that was the first game I bought online, retailed. Yeah, I won it through auction, but I don't think anyone else bid on it though, but it was cool. So that, yeah, Splinter Cell Double Agent was really what like kept me going in, or like was a good take on the whole sneaking thing, because I forgot to say that it was the first Splinter Cell games were always taking place in like the darkness. You always snuck around in the dark, but in this game you were like out in a war zone and stuff, and it was during daylight, and you still had to sneak around, and that was really cool because it was like a new spin on the whole Splinter Cell thing, but still being a sneaking game. Next game, also sneaking game, Assassin's Creed. Man, if we're gonna talk about cool games, this is it. Jesus. This is the first game that I 100%ed. And I remember people talking about like that this game was so full of these... There were like 100 feathers spread out over the world of this game. And people hated that. But me, I loved it because I got to look everywhere. I got to stay in this world and look out in every crook and cranny and look for these feathers and just live in this world, because it was, oh my god, I loved it so much. But the game, if you don't know, takes place at around 1000, or like, what is it? Like around year 1000 or 1100. I don't remember that well. During like the Templars and Assassins and all that, you probably know already. It was really cool, and I really got into the story, and I thought it was so interesting with this the Templars being the bad guys, while everyone thought that the Templars were good. They were actually the bad guys, and the Assassins were the good ones. And you got to sneak around and parkour. I think this was the first game that actually had parkour in this way, where you could climb every building and get on the rooftops and sneak kill people and throw daggers. It was so fucking cool when I got it, and I played as well. I played it so much, and then I gave that game I didn't give it away, but a friend of mine wanted to borrow it, and I never got it back. So, Coffee, I want my Assassin's Creed back. But yeah, it was so... And yeah, I remember, because the Templars are actually a real thing in the real world, and I didn't really know that. I just thought that this was like a made-up thing that was 1,000 years ago and they weren't the thing anymore. So when I played this game the most, I was so sucked into the game, and I went to school, I did the school things, and on my way home, I walked past this building in my city, and it just said like the Templar Order on the side of the building, and my mind was blown when I was like, oh my god, the Templar Order right here, they're gonna take over the world, no, we gotta stop them! I think I finished every Assassin's Creed game up until Odyssey. I didn't really like those open world games. I preferred them when they were like the first one. So the first one is definitely my favorite one. And I would really love to go back and play it again. Next up, to no surprise, is Mass Effect 2. Here I also struggled a lot. Like, should I put Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, or Mass Effect 3? I love all of them. But I decided to go with Mass Effect 2 because that was the game that got me into the Mass Effect series. And I am so thankful for it doing that because I love Mass Effect so much. But I didn't at the first time. I tried getting into Mass Effect. I got it because everyone talked about how good this game was. Like, Mass Effect is the greatest game since Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I like good games. I want to play that. So I got the first game. I started playing it, and I thought like, wow, they're really talking a lot. When are we gonna do the shooting? Why are they just talking? And I got to do the shooting, and the shooting felt really bad. And I was like, okay, I guess it's better, just gotta get into it. The controls are a little wonky. That's how games are sometimes. That's okay, just gotta get into it. And I think I played like a third of the game, like over a couple of days or weeks, or a week or so. And then I just put down the controller. I was like, nah, this game isn't for me. And later I tried again, I played it, and I got about as far again. I was like, no, I don't like this. They talk too much. This is too much talking. Because it's a very, 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 very story-driven game. Like, it's an RPG. It's a space RPG game. And I thought like, no, this isn't fun. So later when I went to university, I met a girl there that I befriended. And she was so into Mass Effect. And she talked about Mass Effect all the time, as much as she could. She talked about Mass Effect, and I actually walked up to her and like, hey, what is it you like about Mass Effect? I tried to playing it and I just didn't like it. And she was like, but I love the story and I love the cutscenes. It's like playing a movie, and she loved the characters and all. I was like, okay, that's interesting, playing a movie. I never thought about it in that way, because for me, a game should always be gameplay first. And I never thought that it could be story first or characters first. And then a few years later, Mass Effect 2 released. And I thought like, hey, what the hell, okay, I'll try the demo, because back on the 360, I think it released on the 360. Yeah, it did. 360 usually had a lot of demos, and there was a Mass Effect 2 demo. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this demo. And the opening of Mass Effect 2 is one of the coolest openings to a game I've ever seen. And I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, if you've seen it, you know, like when you run around on the ship and the whole thing there, yeah, you know, that's blew my mind. It was so cool, and I was like, okay, now I actually want to know what happened, because I was so like, it just pulled me in so much, and I got to play like a random mission after that, and was like, okay, they actually upped up the shooting in this game, and the character seems more alive and not so stiff as they did in the first game. So I went back after that and played Mass Effect 1, and I got to the point where I put down the controllers 2 times before, and I continued. And I got to 2/3, and I got to the end. And at the end of the game, I don't want to spoil anything, because maybe I will play this in the future, or maybe you want to play it yourself, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is this part in the end where you run up, like, let's say it's like a wall, because you're in space basically. So you're walking up this path and you see like the big bad thing up in the end of the whole thing, and there's explosions and a spaceship flying around and all that stuff. And I just had to stop and just look at it and loudly just said to myself, damn, this is cool. And yeah, after that I finished it. I loved it. So I played it again with a new character, because you can be good, you can be bad, you can be in between. It's up to you. So I played it first as good and then as evil. And then I played Mass Effect 2, and oh my god, that game was so much better than the first one. The characters were more fleshed out. Garrus, I love you, please marry me. Yeah, you could date Garrus! You could actually date Garrus, finally, this was my... So, if you don't know, there's an alien, a really hot, good-looking alien, and I love him so much, who was like my favorite character in the first Mass Effect game. And I did my best to try to date him because I knew, I had read there were dateable aliens in this game. So I did my damnest to try to date him, but he just didn't want to have me. And then I found out that you can't date him in the first game. There's one alien you can date, and that's Liara, and yeah, she's the blue one. You all know her. So in the second game you could date Garrus, and I was so happy because I love Garrus so much. And I loved like the whole flirting with Garrus and all. But the characters, like I said, the characters were so much more fleshed out, and I thought the story was also more fleshed out. The shooting was much better. And I just loved it so much. And then when when Mass Effect 3 released, more Garrus dating. Oh, I love Garrus. I think Mass Effect 3 is a great game. I know a lot of people gave Mass Effect ending shit. I didn't care. I love the game. And yeah, so Mass Effect 3... the Mass Effect series is definitely one of my favorite game series of all time. Dishonored 2! Yeah, so again, I wasn't sure if I should put Dishonored 1 or Dishonored 2. Like with before, this is also a sneaking game, and I think this, like I said before, I got into sneaking games from Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, and this is a sneaking game with magic. How cool is that? So it's parkouring, there is magic, there are guns, there are swords, so fucking cool, and the story is really interesting, and this is like this cool Victorian London. Maybe not London, but Victorian-esque style to it all. In Dunwall, I think the city is called. So cool. And story, great story. We love the gameplay. One of my favorite games. But then Dishonored 2 released. And in my honest opinion, I know that many people don't like Dishonored 2. But to me, I think that they took everything that was great with Dishonored 2, with Dishonored, and put that in Dishonored 2 and just made it better. I think Dishonored 2, my honest opinion is that Dishonored 2 is Dishonored 1 but better. And I'm not gonna apologize for that. I think that Dishonored 2 is better than Dishonored 1. That I think Dishonored 2 is also the last game that I got the collector's edition for. I got Corvo's mask. Really cool. I love it. So yeah, there's like all this sneaking around, and there are more cool abilities and more enemies. I love the clockwork mansion, where like go around this big mansion and pull levers and walls turn around, the rooms change and all, and enemies appear and stuff. It's so cool. I love Dishonored 2. I think these are 9 games I love so much. I just love these games. You can play as Corvo as you played in the first game, but you can play as Emily who is new to this game, and the gameplay isn't really that different. You just start with different abilities. I also played through the game now recently without any abilities, which also is really cool, that you could play this whole game without any magic abilities at all, and it's still a great game. It's still cool. It's still just as appealing. It's just great. They like getting to a place where like you gotta get into a house to assassinate someone or something. There are so many different ways you can go in there. It's not like you gotta go through this door or through this window, but there are like so many different ways you can go there, and I love that about this game, that you can really explore and find different paths into like where your target or the thing you want to steal, or whatever reason you want to go into somewhere. There are so many different ways you can do that. Great game. I love it so much. So cool. Yeah. Well-made game. The Witness. That is not an action game. That is not an RPG. It's not a sneaking game. it's a puzzle game. You literally walk around on this island and solve puzzles. That's all you do. You just draw lines in different ways. And yeah, I think this is not so much the game itself. The game is amazing, in my opinion. Like, I really think it's a good game. But it wasn't so much that it happened to be on this list. It's not that it happens to be on this list. It's not so much that the game is good, as much as the experience I had playing it. Because I played this when I moved in with Bibi, or rather Bibi moved in with me, and we were living together. And she bought the game, and then I borrowed it from her through Steam. So what we did was that she started the game on her computer, then she turned off her internet connection so that she went into an offline mode, and then I could borrow the game from her because she wasn't online anymore. She wasn't playing it according to Steam, so I could play it on my Steam, like on my computer. So we played the game together on separately on each other on our computers, and like decided like, oh, now we should go here and do this puzzle, now we should go over here, and together we walked around this island separately but also together, and we found all these puzzles and we figured out the puzzles together, like how to solve the puzzles. And we had so many aha moments. It's amazing. And there was like I'm gonna spoil one puzzle for you, because we walked around in this, or there was like a garden with labyrinth in it, and we walked around and like, what is it that this puzzle is? What does it want us to do? How can we know where we are supposed to walk? And we walked around and walked around and walked around, and then I noticed that when you walked through certain corners, the audio changed. Like you walk on, let's say you walk on gravel, and the sound changed a bit, and we noticed this just at the same time. So when we were sitting there, then we just swung the heads around at each other and was like, it's the sound. That was so cool that we figured that out at the exact same moment. It was like, the sound, that's how we know where to go. And we figured the puzzle out by that. We just following around where the sound was the same and didn't change. Stuff like that was so amazing. Other stuff, another puzzle, we walked around and we were there for minutes. We just walked around, couldn't figure out the first thing, like, how do we know how to solve this puzzle? And then I walked around and I saw like you had to be at a certain angle to see this. And like, why am I seeing it there? And then I had this like aha moment, and like, Bibi, go over there and stand there and look at it. And she did, and she was like, oh my god, I know it now. So many of these moments. So this is, if you can play this with a friend, I definitely suggest that you do that if you haven't played it. Stream it with a friend, or do as we did and play it together on your own computer and talk while you do it and try to do the same thing. Amazing. That's an amazing experience, definitely, and that's why it's on this list. Undertale. I bet this game is on everyone's top 9 games list. Man, I don't even think. I know that I have never cried as much to a game as I did to Undertale. Oh my god. And just as, but yeah, let's jump back a bit. Just as with Mass Effect, I tried playing this game. I didn't really like it. Too much talking. I wasn't very into it. I wasn't really interested. I got into a bit of it. Maybe a fourth of the game. Meh. Didn't really enjoy it that much. I didn't know about the whole that you could go either pacify, like don't kill anyone, or kill everything. I did not know that these were like things you could do. So I think I like try attacking some monsters, and I just let some stay mercy some, and yeah, didn't really fall into that much. So Bibi, again, this was still a time where Bibi believed in me. She talked me into playing it again. She felt, come on, this is a great game, Bo. You gotta play this. Please, play it for me. Come on, I love this game and I know you're gonna play it. Just give it a chance. And I was like, okay, I can play it. And she was like, I'll be next to you. I'll be with you through the whole game. Let's play together. And I was like, oh, okay. So she sat next to me while I was playing it, and we like did the voices together and stuff. And I think that really like helped me get into the game, that we did the voices for the characters and did like playing up Sanson's Papyrus and Undyne, and yeah, holy fuck. And the music in this game, you probably already played it or seen other people play it or just heard the music. The music is amazing, and we gotta talk about Asgore. If we gotta talk about Undertale, we gotta talk about Asgore. I have never felt so devastated in a game as I did when Asgore destroyed Azarion. Fuck me. Worst moment in a game ever. I still haven't forgiven Toby Fox for it. Damn. And the ending, oh my god, I was crying so much, and I didn't want to show Bibi either that I was crying, but I was like, oh, I can't even express in English how much I was crying, but the tears just flowing, and I had hard time breathing, and I was just, whoa. And Bibi was like, are you sad, Bo? And I looked, shut up! Basically. Holy fuck. So yeah, Undertale put a big impression on me, and yeah, it's one of those games that I wish that I could go back again and play blind. So if you haven't played Undertale, please do yourself the service and don't look anything up about the game, just go play it. The best experience is if you go play it and you don't kill anyone, you don't attack anything. You don't have to do a genocide run after that, just go through the game one time without killing anyone. That's my suggestion. Next game is Sekiro. Yeah, this is my favorite From Software game. I'm one of those guys. I tried playing Bloodborne, I tried playing Dark Souls 3, and I just didn't like it that much. I thought it was fun that they were challenging, but I just didn't really get into it. When they teased Sekiro and they started showing trailers for it, I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah, because I love this Japanese setting, the East Asian setting. It's so cool, and I just wanted to sink into that setting. I don't want to say that I'm a weeb or anything, but I just love the Japanese setting, like the medieval Japanese thing. So cool. And yeah, got into the game, and I think Sekiro is the only game where I have tried for 5 hours straight without pause to kill a boss. Lady Butterfly, motherfucker, go die in a fucking ditch. I was trying so hard with this boss, and Chase was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm trying to kill the boss here. And I was like, oh, okay. I think he went somewhere, and he came back 4 hours later, and I was still struggling with this boss, and he was like, dude, are you still trying to kill that boss? Haven't you given up yet? And I'm like, I don't give up, no. And I got her up to like 5 hours, but Jesus Christ. And I think I liked the Sekiro more because it has sneaking, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne didn't. And it wasn't so dark and gloomy as the other games, but it was more bright and colorful. I love when games are bright and colorful. I don't really I don't really like horror games and those such of games. I didn't like playing Bloodborne because I thought it was scary. I thought it was too eerie to me, so I wasn't really interested in playing it. Same with Dark Souls. I was just being scared all the time because I felt like I couldn't defend myself to all these monsters. Like everything was out to kill me, and I couldn't defend myself. But playing as like the wolf, what was his name? Wolf in Sekiro, I really felt like I could defend myself, and that gave me more confident playing the game. And yeah, I love the whole parry thing that the game is built upon, and how fast-paced it is. So after I finished that and finished that New Game Plus, I think, as well, I went back and I finished Bloodborne, I finished Dark Souls 3, and I finished Dark Souls. And I loved it. I loved all of those. I loved all the From Software games. I still haven't played Dark Souls 2 though, but I love the other games. And that is all because of Sekiro. Sekiro was the game that turned the tide and got me into From Software games. And yeah, that's why it's my favorite one. And finally, we have Outer Wilds. And this game, I almost want to say is my favorite game. But I'm not sure. All these games are great. I love all of these games, as you know. But I think that this is at least my top 3 games of all times. Definitely, this is one of my favorite games of all times. And you are doing yourself a disservice of not playing it. You shouldn't look anyone else play it. You should play it yourself. That's all I can say about it. I love this game so much. It is such a good game. What can I say? Space exploration, this cool physics, like you're in your little spaceship and you fly around the planets and stuff, and you explore, and this is mystery of the universe. And I can't talk so much about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but the story is great, the music is wonderful, the art direction fantastic. I love everything about this game. This game is a 10 out of 10. It's a solid game right through and through. I think that's why I love it so much, because it's such a solid, well-made game. And actually, like I said, I can't talk much about this game because I don't want to spoil anything. You should play this. And someone actually asked me on the open hangout I had a while back why I didn't stream or make videos of this game. And the thing is, when I started playing it, I didn't know that this would be like my favorite game of all time. I just thought like, oh, a cool space exploration game, and I heard it's good, so I'm gonna try playing it. And I just wanted to play for myself. And yeah, when I started playing it, I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And I don't think making videos out of it wouldn't have made the game justice, I think, because I would have been more conscious about making a good video and talk to you guys. And yeah, instead of just relaxing, laying back and just enjoying the game for what it is. And that's, I think, is the most important about this game, that you just gotta let the game take you where it wants to. And yeah, just go with it. But yeah, those are my 9 favorite games, or nine important games of my gaming life. And I kind of wanted to segue from Outer Wilds to what are my 2 favorite games of this year, of 2021, where the first one is actually the DLC to Outer Wilds. I know it's kind of not a game itself, but I think it's so good enough that I can't not talk about it. Like, again, I can't spoil anything about it, but just know that the Outer Wilds DLC, Echoes of the Eye, is almost just as good as, or I would say it is as good as the main game. I know Bubbles is gonna give me shit for that, because he is the Outer Wilds fan. But I just love Echoes of the Wild so much. Such a well-made DLC. Definitely. So many cool moments in it. So many oh, aha, I get it moments. I love those in games when everything just fits and you just get it in your mind, and you're like, I understand now. I understand what's happening. I know how to finish it. I know how to solve this puzzle. Those moments are the best. And the music, both in Outer Wilds and in the DLC, the music is fantastic. So again, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not playing these. And you should do that. The other one, I have 2 favorite games of this year. The other one is the one I have on my shirt here. Is Death's Door, where it's like, how do you explain what it is? I don't know the terminology for games that well, but it's like it's top down and kind of like Dark Souls in a way that is, if you get hit 4 times, you die. It's the game over. You die, but you respawn at your last checkpoints, like at the door, at the death's door, where you spawned, and you don't lose anything from dying. So that's like what I like the most about this game, is that it's challenging like Dark Souls, but it's not punishing as Dark Souls. So yeah, it's hard but not punishing, and that's what I like about it. And again, the music is mwah. I love the music in this game. It's so cozy and cool and action-packed. And did I say that mention that you're a bird? He's a fucking bird with a sword. He's so cute. I can't even. If it looks interesting, I definitely recommend that you go play it or watch someone else play it. But I think it's a really fun game to play yourself if you like those kind of games. I've almost recorded for an hour now, so I should end there. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to talk for even 20 minutes about these games, and now I talked for almost an hour. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite or top 9 games or whatever you want to call it in the comments down below. Your top 3, top 9, whatever, your top 1 favorite games, important games, games you enjoy. I'm interested in hearing from you, and yeah, maybe you could do like this, like I did. Put them in a grid like this and put on the Discord server, and we could talk about it. That would be cool. If I haven't made the update video yet, there will be an update video coming out soon, where I talk about the future of this channel and me and my life and all of that stuff. But that's for another day, guys. I love you, so take care and remember that you are loved and appreciated, and that you should be proud of who you are, because I want to see you in next episode. Bye!